All right, here we go. Chapter 5 in the homework machine. January. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. My dad was sent overseas. It was during the vacation, I remember. We got a call around New Year's Day. Kind of put a damper on the celebration. Had been in the Air Force for 4 years, and we always knew he could be called away at any time, but I guess we just hoped it wouldn't happen. Me and my brothers and my mom were pretty upset. But he was a soldier, right? You do what you're ordered to do. You know, when you sign up that you're going to defend your country one way or another. I understood. I don't really want to talk about it. Before he went away, my dad gave me his chessboard and some books about chess. He told me to practice up, so when he came home, I would be able to give him a good game. Judy Douglas, grade 5. I was very upset when Snick's dad was sent to the Middle East. We're not best friends or anything, but even so, Snick was all gung-ho G.I. Joe about it. He said, my dad is going to shoot guys, and that kind of silly macho talk. I was against the war, and I didn't want to see the dad of someone I knew get hurt. I didn't discuss it with Snick very much. I didn't want him telling me that people who were against the war were traitors and all that. But I'm sure he was thinking about his dad all the time. How could you not? Brenton Damagachi, grade 5. I have always thought that instead of fighting wars, the leaders of the two sides should play a game of chess against each other. Whoever wins the game wins the war. Nobody has to die. War is not the answer. Chess is the answer. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. When I heard that Snick's dad had to go to the Middle East, I just started crying. I couldn't stop. It was like something opened up inside of me. Everybody gathered around me and asked me what was wrong. That was the first time I ever told anybody at school that my dad died. I didn't want Snick's dad to die, too. We probably have Air Force bases in Hawaii and Southern California and cool places like that all over the world, but he had to get sent to the one place where there was a war going on. Talk about bad luck. Miss Rasmussen, 5th grade teacher. When Sam's father was sent overseas, I noticed a change came over him. He didn't crack many jokes anymore. He stopped making fun of people. He was more businesslike, grim even. I tried to talk to him about it, but he obviously didn't want to. I wanted to comfort him. Sometimes you just can't help. Judy Douglas, grade 5. By January, we were using Belch every day. I had stopped doing my homework on my own entirely. I never even thought about doing it that way anymore. It was just so much easier using Belch. My mom used to smoke cigarettes when she was younger. I asked her how she started. She said that she tried a cigarette one day just for the fun of it, and when she was out with some friends who smoked. She didn't like it that much, but a few days later, she was with the same people and she had another one. She just wanted to fit in, you know? Little by little, she started smoking a cigarette here and there, and soon she started thinking about having a cigarette when she wasn't smoking one. Before she knew it, she was smoking a pack of cigarettes every day, and she was addicted to them. I think I was becoming addicted to Belch, almost the same way. I asked my mom how she quit smoking, and she said it was very hard. She tried a whole bunch of times, but she couldn't do it. Finally, she quit when she was pregnant with me. She didn't want me to be harmed by the tobacco in her body. That's what it took for her to stop. Ronnie Teotwaki, grade 5. Every day, Snickwad, Kelsey, Judy, and Brenton would leave school together. The little foursome. They just couldn't be a tight group. I couldn't resist. I had to find out what was going on, so I followed them, hiding behind trees and bushes and stuff so they wouldn't see me. They went over to Brenton's house. I hid behind a car parked across the street. A few minutes after they went inside, I saw some movement in one of the windows on the second floor. It was probably Brenton's bedroom. His mother brought them something on a tray, then she left, and they closed the door. It looked like Brenton was fussing with his computer. I couldn't tell exactly what he was doing. The others were standing around talking and laughing. They stayed maybe an hour, and then they left. That was it. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. My dad sent me an email saying how about a game of chess. I asked him how can we play chess when I'm in Arizona and he's in the middle of some desert. He says we should each set up a chessboard and we could tell the other one our moves by email. He says a lot of soldiers are doing it, and he gave me the address of a website that makes it easy. I went to the website, but it looked complicated. They use a code to identify the pieces and their positions on the board. It's like this: P equals pawn, R equals rook, N equals knight, K or B equals bishop, Q equals queen, and K equals king. You use capital letters for the white pieces and lowercase letters for the black pieces. When you're ready to make a move, you name the piece and the square you're moving it to. So if white types in NF3, that means he's moving his knight to the third row in the sixth column. I email my dad and say it sounds pretty complicated to me. He says I'm a big wimp and afraid to play him because I know I'd lose. So this is what I email him back: PE4. Judy Douglas, grade 5. Jessica Martin used to be my best friend in the whole world. We've known each other since we were in kindergarten. When we were in the same class at school last year, we would come home every day and do our homework together. Sometimes other girls in the class joined us too. Jessica asked me to meet her in the bathroom after lunch. She was all serious, like she had something very important and personal to get off her chest. She said she was upset because we hadn't seen each other in a long time, and I never called her anymore. I said it was nothing. We were in different classes now, and I was just busy. That's all. I couldn't tell her about Belch, of course. Jessica asked me if Kelsey was my new best friend because she saw me riding bikes home from school with her. Jessica said that Kelsey is like trailer trash, and she's got pink hair and everything. I said, don't be ridiculous. I could never be friends with Kelsey. It wasn't a nice thing to say, but I didn't know what else to say to Jessica. I didn't feel good about the whole thing. I didn't know what to do. I'm just not good in situations like that. Sam Dawkins, grade 5. So this jerk, Ronnie Teotwaki, comes up to me in the lunchroom one day and asks me why I'm hanging around with Brenton. I tell him I'm not hanging around with Brenton. And he says, oh yeah? How come you leave school with him every day? I say it's none of his business who I leave school with, and he better leave me alone and stop watching me, or I'll bust his head open. That shut him up. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. My friend Heather in the other class asked me if I wanted to come over after school and listen to this cool new CD she burned by some band. I told her I couldn't, but I didn't tell her I was going over to Brenton's house with Judy and Snick. She looked kind of hurt and said, what's up? How come I see you with that jerk Judy all the time now? Are you friends? Are you turning goody-goody? She said Judy was stuck up and snotty and all that. I said I know. I told her I wasn't friends with Judy or anything. I couldn't tell Heather about Belch. She tells everybody everything. I guess it's better for Heather to tell everybody I'm friends with Judy than to have her tell everybody about Belch. Judy Douglas, grade 5. I felt bad about Jessica, so I called her up and asked if she wanted to do something. She said she couldn't because she had a ton of homework to do. My homework was done hours before. She started asking all these questions, like how come you aren't working on your homework? How did you finish it so fast? I kind of freaked out. What was I supposed to say? That machine did my homework for me? I told Jessica that I did some of my homework at school, but I'm not sure if she believed me. I was never very good at lying. Some people can just look you in the eye and tell you a total lie, and you never know it. When I tell a lie, I get nervous and I start sweating and stuttering, and I can't look the person in the face. I'm terrible at it. I'd rather just tell the truth to tell you the truth. But sometimes you can't. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. Heather said she thought it over and she couldn't be friends with me anymore if I was going to hang out with a stuck-up jerk like Judy. So I told her I didn't want to be friends with anybody who insisted on telling me who I was allowed to hang out with. She got all mad, and so did I. I guess me and Heather aren't friends anymore. Judy Douglas, grade 5. I was walking to the bike rack with Snick and Kelsey when I saw Jessica and some of the other girls leaving the school together. I guess they were going to do their homework together. Jessica kind of glanced at me. She didn't invite me to join them. She didn't say anything. Neither did I. And after that, we weren't friends anymore. Miss Rasmussen, 5th grade teacher. When Sam told me he was playing a game of chess with his father by email, I was just thrilled. Before that, I didn't see that he had any real hobbies or interests. Finally, he had found a positive interest that would stimulate his mind, and every child needs that. For some kids, it's sports or playing a musical instrument or reading. For me, it was nature. For Sam, it was chess. I also thought playing chess was a great way for him to keep in touch with his father, who was so far away. It helped get Sam out of his funk for a while, too. I was careful not to tell Sam how pleased I was with the chess, though. Sam is one of those students who think that if a grown up approves of something they do, it must not be very cool, and maybe he should stop doing it. I didn't want that to happen. You have to be very careful with the way you treat each child. Judy Douglas, grade 5. My dad has this thing where we have to sit around the dinner table and talk about serious subjects every night. Like he'll bring up the subject of gun control or athletes taking steroids, and the whole family has to give our opinions. One night, we were talking about knowing right from wrong. Dad said that sometimes the difference between right and wrong is obvious. Like when you add two numbers together, there was a right answer and a wrong answer. Or robbing a bank or killing somebody is definitely wrong. But in some situations, you can't tell the difference between right and wrong so easily. Like driving faster than the speed limit is wrong. But if you're rushing to the hospital so that a baby can be born, then speeding is okay. Or hitting somebody with a baseball bat is wrong. But if that person was attacking your mom, then it's okay. I didn't feel well. I felt physically ill. I had to excuse myself from the table. Kelsey Donnelly, grade 5. Feeling guilty about what we did? Yeah, I guess a little. But hey, we didn't hurt anybody. There are a lot of horrible people in the world who get away with lots of stuff. What we did wasn't so bad. There are degrees of wrongness, you know. If you get all worked up over the little wrongs, you won't appreciate how wrong the big wrongs are. Police Chief Rebecca Fish. I first became aware of this so-called homework machine back in January. Got an anonymous tip. Somebody called the hotline and said a kid at Grand Canyon School developed a machine that did homework automatically. Then they hung up. It sounded like a kid. Traced the call to a payphone. Figured it was a crank. Kids do this kind of stuff all the time. Sounded like a load of bull, if you'll excuse my French. It's standard procedure to keep a record of all calls. So I did, of course, just in case. I know a guy in Washington who looks into this kind of stuff. Told him what I knew, which wasn't much. He said maybe he would check it out if he had time. Ronnie Teotwaki, grade 5. It wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me who told the cops about the machine. I'll swear it on a stack of Bibles if you want me to. I'll swear it on my mother. I never called the police. And that is the end of chapter 5.